Welcome, Anime Lily fans. How you guys doing? LegendDVash as always. SamTheMangaMan, JBXclusive, and our King of Games, RayApollo. And we're here for another review of My Hero Academia, chapter 287. The name of the chapter is Mistake. And as always, to start off with our boy JB and Ray giving their first impressions of what they thought about the chapter. So JB, Ray, go ahead first.
Dibs on Nana Shimura.
I should have seen that coming.
I said this before the show, Ray. You can't just call dibs on all the hot ones.
Yo, I can't lie. That first page, our girl Nana, those thick legs, yo, those are some muscle ass thick legs. I'm like, hey, yo, you thick squad.
Please. Yes, please. Oh my goodness. God, Horikoshi, thank you, because this has just continued to get better and better week over week over week, and I'm like, when is he gonna stop? Like, I'm like, you want to take a break, dude? Hey, cool. I'd appreciate it, but like, god dang, this has been so good. This chapter to me, and I said it on Twitter earlier, is probably one of the most important ones we've gotten in a long time. And I mean, context to story wise, like, this is like, the action is great, but like this to me was more important than the fight that they had.
Yes.
This, like, we learned so much about the quirks and about All for One as well. So, but this is like, we saw some of the cracks in his plan, but also Nana too. It's like we learned that she didn't even know him, and that makes me super sad. She didn't even know her grandson.
Yeah. Like, oh, I mean, you are my son's son. That makes sense.
Yeah,
this is like all the memories from what Deku seen in his perspective, not from what Tamura, not from Shigaraki's perspective, his memory or anything. All the memory that Shigaraki had was a picture and everybody mentioning her name, and that's it.
But the most interesting thing, I was like, because when he saw her, he was like, because he started to ask the question of when he was like first accepting that quirk of why was she there in my subconscious when I was going over, like, he's like, I didn't even know you, so why were you there? And that's a really good question. Yeah. So like, why was she there, and how does that work? Like, how connected are these quirks, One for All and All for One, that she would have been there? I don't know, because he didn't know her, he only had a picture of her. So that's true. But yeah, James, sorry, go ahead. But like, what'd you think of the chapter overall?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much to echo what you said, like, this is one of the most important chapters that we've ever gotten. Horikoshi is an absolute genius. We are in chapter 287, and we're still learning things about One for All and All for One, and that's something that I think is so important and so exciting, that there's still things that we're learning about how the consciousness of how the previous owners of these quirks work and how they stay within the mind of the current user, and I love all of this stuff. And we got more of the One for All world, which I think Ray pretty much hit the nail on the head in the last chapter and what it was called. So I really love this. It's dialogue heavy, it's lore heavy. We get so much between the first user of One for All and
the little
All
brother
for One. Yeah, there's just so much that you get in this chapter, in these 20 pages, and I absolutely loved every minute of it.
So James, so let's go from what you said about the little brother talking to the older brother, them both seeing each other in a while. How did you guys feel about that?
I mean, I thought it was the right time for it to happen, right? I feel like if it happened at any other time, it would just be at random. But this is the moment where Shigaraki tries to steal the quirk, and we now have the two current predecessors, going head to head, and everyone else is trying to help them retain the quirks. Like, God, it's so good.
Question for you though, James: does Shigaraki want to steal the quirk, or does All for One want to steal the quirk?
All for One is the one that wants to steal the quirk.
I think they both do, but
you think so?
But for different reasons.
Different reasons.
Oh. I agree. Shigaraki wants to destroy everything. And in order to do that, he has to take out the rival quirk. So the best way to do that is to steal it, and then he can use all of those abilities to do what he wants. Now, but I do think to some degree it's still influenced by All for One.
I think it's completely influenced by All for One, to be completely honest. And what he said about the quirk and the consciousness type deal, I think that it's completely influenced. Like, Shigaraki didn't care. He didn't even start thinking about this until he got this quirk. And it was more he was acting out the will of All for One and not his own, and that's why he was upset with himself.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like he was questioning. It's like, actually, I was fighting you because I want to destroy everything you stand for. You stand for Hero Society. But now it's this mix of, oh yeah, Master wants this quirk, but oh, it's way more powerful than I thought.
Yeah.
It's because that the power inside him is what asking him to get it. It's what's asking him to take it. But does he really want to mentally? Because he also has his own goals. He wants to destroy everything. So does that include Deku and the Hero Society itself with the quirk, or is that what is that the power inside him is what's telling him, or it's a mix of both of what you said? Right? So I definitely agree it's a mix of both.
That would be my guess now. Is that he wants to take the quirk, kind of like Jabe said, but to destroy Hero Society. Because without this quirk now, Hero Society is a wrap.
Yeah, because let's be real. I mean, Endeavor has no chance against him, so it's like that's the #1 hero, bro. So
I mean, I will say that they like those heroes kind of gave Shigaraki to work, like when they were working together, but it took multiple.
It took like 6 or 7 of them going at it. Dragon, Miracle,
and they all came out way worse than he did.
And he's the only one that knows how to regenerate because his body ran out. It got his hair back right after they went out. The skin is coming back, so they're healing.
His regeneration is still working.
Yes,
it's
slow. It's slow, but still good.
It's working. So I'm like, okay, y'all still could be in trouble, but I think what I was really hoping was going to happen was that he would be like, no, time to back out and go, like, literally, he said it, take stock of what we have and do it later. And I'm like, thank God, because like this is what we need. Like, this is what we want. And I'm like, Horikoshi, you're doing it. And I appreciate it. I was so excited.
And Sam, what's your thoughts about that?
Core consciousness, and then we know that if Shigaraki does steal the One for All quirk, he would also steal some consciousness of Nana Mishimura and her memory back inside of his head again. Since we learned about quirk consciousness, we kind of learned about. Now we learn the whole truth of how One for All quirk kind of works now too, because all the quirks that came in together are all the pieces of consciousness of each previous users, and also it makes the most sense because when One for One was complaining, like every time I try to steal quirk, I got their quirk consciousness, and they complain at me, they bother the hell out of me, I get annoyed and everything. But when I give it away, it's gone. He's completely gone in that sort of way.
I mean, in that conversation, Sam, not to cut you off, that conversation told me how this series is going to end.
Yeah,
it really did.
In a way.
The series is going to end in that space. And it's going to be one of them either willingly giving the other the quirk or one taking the quirk and deciding to end it.
What happens if both quirks gets destroyed by kind of canceling each other out?
That's what I'm saying.
That's also another thing too.
Because like they're both so powerful, and what happens if it can't exist in this world? Because
that's what I'm saying though. Those two quirks coming together could absolutely destroy each other.
That's what I'm saying. Like those cannot coexist, maybe. So it's like one is canceling each other out.
That would be the best case scenario. Like Deku would definitely do that. Like give up his own powers just to get rid of like All for One's and his quirk. And
I could see that happening.
That is like a hero sacrifice right there.
I was just gonna say maybe that's what makes him the greatest hero. Like the fact that he was able to give up literally everything to save the world and preserve the future. Like that would be interesting, Sam, for sure.
It's kind of like how Flash, aka Barry, kind of gave up his life, and then he became the lightning that kind of struck him years ago. It's kind of like what Deku's kind of this is us trying to theorize. Who knows how many more chapters the series is gonna end? But like, who knows if that's the case for it to happen?
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities, man. Lots of possibilities.
And then, we also made this prediction and theory too onto the My Hero movie, The Heroes Rising, where the One for All quirk has a mind of its own, and Ray was right on that point. And like that's the whole reason of why the quirk stays within Deku, because they
it has several minds of its own.
Now it fully kind of makes the whole full circle with the movie too, and it actually kind of does make it a lot better. It makes the most sense. And now people would need to get to this point in time and be like, okay, the movie was really, really good.
I mean, the movie was doing what was canon. It's just that it couldn't tell us at that point.
Right.
Yeah, basically the future of it. Yeah. So it makes sense.
And like I said, if you really thought about it, it makes sense. But it's like at that point, we knew nothing about the quirk still then, if you think about it, which was like, that's crazy.
And now even just knowing a bit information about the organs, about the consciousness, these stuff, like we just still know a fraction. We even don't know like enough information to fully know how does it work fully, because we just know bits and pieces.
Well, I mean, this chapter really did kind of explain it. It's just it doesn't completely lay it out, but it
lay out.
it.
You have to read it. You have to read it carefully.
Was a metaphor. That was a metaphor to like
how it explain how this really fully works. Like this is just a good metaphor for it.
Yeah.
What's also kind of sad is All Might is not going to be one of the conscious memories for Deku because he was quirkless.
I mean, I think he will once he dies.
Will. Yes, he will.
He will.
Yeah.
I'm about to say he will, Sam. I'm about to say like he's going to be, just because he was occurred. He was one of the predecessors. He just hasn't died yet.
But that also tells me I don't think Horikoshi plans on killing off All Might.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening either.
I don't because there's no point.
Yeah,
there's no point in killing off All Might. Like it's not going to.
That is true
for Deku's character or for the universe if All Might dies.
So to me, Horikoshi put that in the dirt once Deku like completely changed the prophecy that night I saw that All Might was gonna die. I saw Deku changing the prophecy, so I don't think All Might's gonna die.
It's true, because it makes sense now that what's the point of All Might dying and losing his mentor when he could still see his mentor inside the avatar? So it's kind of pointless when he's seeing both worlds. So it's kind of pointless, like, and plus All Might has to also be there for Bakugo as well to teach him. So he does reasons.
Exactly.
I am still very confident that Gran Torino dies.
Gran Torino definitely would be dying.
I could see Gran Torino dying.
Even if he just dies from complications of things because he's old.
He's old. He got stabbed. He's a hero. He died in the line of duty. Makes total sense.
That death would, I feel like, be as much as All Might's death would be devastating to the point that Deku would be debilitated, but Gran Torino's death would motivate him, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
it would motivate Deku and All Might. It would motivate Deku to push even further. It would motivate All Might to help Deku and everyone else, like, help to build out the hero society to make better heroes. Like, I think his death would be hugely impactful.
So what I'm saying right now is killing All Might is not worth it. This is what I'm saying to y'all. It's not worth killing All Might at this point. Like, it's just
I used to stand at that theory. I used to tell Sam back when we started reading chapters 195. I used to think like, yo, All Might's gonna die by chapter 300 or somewhere like that to help Deku. But now, because of this chapter and what Ray said as well, I am on that standpoint. All Might don't see a reason to die, because if he dies, he's gonna be inside with Deku into the predecessors as well. So technically, he could just call the Avatar and be like, "Hey, I need some help and advice. I can literally talk to you."
At least this way, him being alive, he gets to help the other.
By the way, we want All Might alive because guess who is Bakugo's current mentor?
It's All Might right now, because Blue Genius is technically, nowhere to be found. So technically, they're both having two mentees. So it makes total sense for that. But I also like how our boy Shigaraki did listen to what Gran Torino said. Now quit trampling all over Shimura. So like that makes sense. Like he actually listened, paid attention, like, why were you here and everything. So it makes sense, like, throughout all that fighting, he's paying attention to what people say and everything, and also his memory.
Like if somebody said that to you, you had no idea what the hell they were talking about. It's like, what the fuck was he saying, crazy old man? But now it makes sense.
It clicks for him.
It's like, oh, okay, I guess that's who that is. Grandma, I don't know you, but I hate you too because I hate everybody. Is what he's trying to convince himself.
Yeah, I figured that was also because his father also hated his mom, her too, because for abandoning her and all that stuff like that as well.
But then, cool question. So, in the whole atmosphere of the whole Dark Realm with the All for One versus 1-4 right now going on, that explosion right after that panel in page 6 and 7, was he using his quirk there, or was he just using his anger trying to destroy his mom and trying to destroy All for One?
Well, I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing to me. Like, he's using his decay in the One for All world to erode everything that's in there to take over.
But he couldn't, because what did they say? Only the power of All for One could actually affect this world, and it's not completely his, is what we learned.
Yeah. So like we talked about
even more.
Go ahead, Sam. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was also gonna say it's even more gives also heightens Ray's theory that this is where the series is gonna end in this world too.
I think so. I really do think so.
Because Deku is gonna be able to use all the predecessors' quirks into this world, and they're gonna be fighting in this kind of reality.
That battle is gonna be wild.
That panel's gonna be sick.
Literally using the strength, the Black Whip, Float, and the other 3-4 others. Oh my god, that'd be crazy.
I could see a whole 2-page landscape of the entire arena.
Unless Deku gives those quirks away, which is another theory I have. So don't worry about that.
I hope not. I hope not
either.
I don't think so. No, that's too much. No, that's too much.
What I'm saying is Deku is going to learn how to share one for all.
Yeah. I definitely see that.
This is what I'm saying. It's like the main quirk pertains with him, but he's going to be able to kind of like Naruto's nine-tailed cloak. And
yes. But just like how, imagine you have Deku, Shoto has 2 quirks, and then Deku gives one to Bakugo, so it becomes a share. I'm just saying, like, all 3 of them together.
It's more like a whole ability enhancement kind of thing, not a whole. I'm giving you this quirk and that strength and action. No. It's like more of enhancement of every other quirks, and
it enhances it enhances their quirk, like Bakugo's quirk was enhanced in the movie, which made it insane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
and it'll still choose to go, and it'll still choose to go back to Deku because he's the one that they all chose.
It'll still remain.
And even more from this chapter, Deku is different compared to many other users. He has the will to do what he needs.
I guess we can't glaze over that he moved on his own within this universe before they got knocked out of it. Which
in page 12 and 13, that panel, he drew that panel such an amazing job. I love it. It was really well done. So I gotta give props for that page.
So good.
Yeah. And the dialogue too, we talked about it before we started recording, but this young man is possessed by a drive to save others that eclipses all common understanding. And that dialogue comes with him moving within this world where he doesn't even have a full body to move. Like that just shows his willpower to preserve this quirk and to save people. Like Horikoshi has built incredible heroes in this world, dude.
I love Deku. Deku's one of my favorite characters, period.
Yeah.
And it keeps being re-cemented that Deku is the ideal hero. Yeah. Like he saves people.
So question for you guys. Now that we have more information in this chapter, do you think that Shigaraki will go and kill All for One? Because it's essentially pointless now because All for One exists in his mind. So you would have to kill him in his mind in order to do anything. Killing his physical form isn't going to do anything.
That's what but maybe killing the physical form weakens the mind. And so
but also then, it would also stop if just in case he goes back and forth between Shigaraki's body and then his own body back and forth in that sort of way. Because if something happens to Shigaraki, we know that All for One will not really die. He'll just go back to
remember when you're in the Avatar state and everything like that, you could also destroy your past lives. aka you could destroy your predecessors. So if you could destroy All for One Astro's form, like the All for One, maybe you could destroy him by probably decaying it in the astral form. I'm just throwing it.
That's how I'm thinking Shigaraki is going to get rid of the consciousness.
Yeah, the consciousness aspect maybe is possible, right?
But that's gonna be hard because that's like his consciousness is in the All for One quirk.
I was just gonna say, but if he does that, he'll lose all of the quirks in All for One.
Unless he find a loophole in there, because like, hey, he's kind of a smart dude. He could find a way possible.
Unless he decides like I don't need this quirk anymore, and it's just gonna be his decayed quirk in its full evolution kind of
that's
thing.
not enough to go against Deku anymore.
It's not. No, it's definitely not.
Well, Deku was giving him hands, so no.
What I would prefer to see is I would love to see All for One stay within Shigaraki's mind, and he just has to have the stronger will to keep him shut away.
That's exactly what I think. It's very JJK, you know what I'm saying? But some of y'all ain't that far.
I get what you're saying. I do get that reference. Yeah.
But I want that to happen too, because I don't want All for One to go away, because there's still a lot we have to learn from that character as well. So.
But the last thing we should bring up is about Toga and Dabi. They're coming they're coming up close. What did you guys think about Toga wanting to know of what does Deku and Ochaku, the 2 people she cares about from UA, to know what is their answer of who to save if you're hero or any type of villain?
Because she already kind of identifies them as like true heroes.
Right.
Like she already kind of feels that. And she's still mourning. She just lost her best friend, essentially. And he was killed by a hero. And these were just people who, frankly, weren't accepted by hero society. And so they are still people, is what she's saying. And I feel so bad for her. It's like, she's right. She's like, did they not see Jin as a person?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's hard. That's like rough. especially for somebody her age. So
yeah, this is what makes Horikoshi such a great writer. Like, these people only became villains because they don't fit into a box. They don't fit into the box of where, oh, because of the way you look, because of the way you act, you fit into this hero box. So if you're not a hero, then you're essentially a villain. And that's how they ended up being. You know what I mean? Like, none of these people are essentially bad people. Everything that they are now is based on circumstance. Like we were talking about before we started recording, the fact that where do we draw the line of who's a hero, who's a villain, who do we choose to save? And like I was saying before we started recording, like this is stuff that we're dealing with in real life. Like people are seen as villains, as bad people, as murderers, as thieves, just because of the way they look. And this hero society, this police society, all needs to be broken down and rebuilt to see people as people and not just things to put into a box that you feel they fit in.
I agree.
100% agree. I can't anymore. You said it perfectly about how Toga, and I can't wait to see about Dabi as well, because Dabi also knows about what's going on with Endeavor over there as well. So maybe that's another reason why he's excited.
Dabi just wants chaos, and he wants to win. You can see it.
Oh, his face, hell yeah.
The moment they get there, be like Davi just see Endeavor like all beaten up and from Shigaraki, like, oh hey, well, it's my opportunity to go ahead and try to kill him.
And he's not gonna get that opportunity. I think it's gonna be taken away from him.
Yeah, he's too driven by rage. He's way too driven by rage. I mean, it's because of this hero society and how it was built is why his father
I was about to say why he exists.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
So are we all good? Any last thoughts about this chapter?
I'm ready for the next one. Like I'm ready.
All right,
Yeah,
but it's time to learn more about Dabi though. Horikoshi, it's time.
Yeah. Just reveal that he's Endeavor's son already. We already know. Just reveal it.
And if he's not,
you can make
I'm
it
really
as
curious to know.
intense as you want. Make a whole
or
setting for it ready.
Maybe it's not his son, but it's his son's quirk that has taken over the consciousness of whoever was the person before.
That'd be wild.
That'd be wild as shit.
That'd be too wild.
That'd be wild.
So wild.
Yeah.
And if that comes true, I don't know what to say, because I'll be like, all right, you're the king of theories here.
Horikoshi's a genius, man. Horikoshi's a genius. I don't put anything past him, dude. It's entirely possible.
Anything's possible.
All right, guys. So let us know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know your feedback. Let us know your theories as well in the comment section below. Join our Discord server. Everything else is down below in the description. Like the video if you're new to the channel. Subscribe if you're old. Thank you guys for always watching. And press that bell notification every time we upload the videos. Other than that, see you guys on the next one.